Hey student, watch this video if you are having problems to learn or remember or use simple past correctly. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. First of all, thank you so much for joining me on another video. I really appreciate it. If it's your first time here, hey, consider subscribing. From Monday to Friday, I post different lessons to help you become a better English speaker. So check if you have your subscriptions in check, because I was checking YouTube analytics and 50% of the people who watch my videos and share are not my subscribers, and that is so sad. Anyways, my friends, today we are going to talk about simple past. Now, this is a little bit different. I'm not going to be teaching a lot of the rules of the grammar, of the mistakes. No, excuse me. I'm going to be giving you some strategies to help you learn or review, remember simple past, a better strategy to study simple past so that you can use simple past, okay? A lot of complaints that I get from my students are, teacher, I can't remember simple past. Teacher, it's very complicated. Teacher, I make many mistakes. What can I do? So here I'm going to focus on that. If you want to have a video just to talk about explanations, rules, examples, let me know here in the comments, okay? Or hit the like button and smash that like button, because that way I can know that you really want to see a continuation of this subject. You want more explanations and details, okay? Excellent. So the first strategy that I'm going to give you is continuous studying. Now, if you have problems with simple past, I'm sorry, my friends, but this means you have to dedicate more time to simple past. So many English learners have this habit of studying something, learning something, like, okay, this week I was watching some videos and then I learned X subject. And after they watch that video, they think it's over. They think it's like, okay, I learned. Awesome. Next lesson. So that's not really how things work. So if you are having problems to learn simple past, you really need to dedicate a little more time. This is not one lesson that you study once in your life and that's it. You learned, especially if you have problems with simple past. So if this is a difficult subject for you, if you keep forgetting the rules, if you keep forgetting the verbs, if you confuse affirmative, negative phrases, you will need to review this more consistently, okay? So that's what I mean by continuous studying. Of course that you need to be a little creative, because there are different ways to study the same subject. I'm not just talking about watching different videos, although this is one possible way to do so. But what I'm trying to say here is much more than that. You need to put simple past in your study list. This is something that you have to be constantly coming back to. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with returning to the same lesson, going back to the subject, because it is important. So my first tip is continuous studying. Continue to study. This is not a verb, okay? Here it's not a verb. Keep studying simple past. You need to bring it closer to your study routine. This is something that I'm always working with my private students, because I know that it's a challenge. So if it's a challenge, okay, challenge accepted. Now I will make sure that every day I make my students practice simple past, use simple past, interact in the real world, speaking the real English and using simple past. So you do have to find a way to bring this to your routine, okay? And as I said, nothing wrong with that. So stop with this feeling that, oh no, but I'm studying simple past again. Isn't this wrong? Isn't this a problem? Am I a bad learner because I'm studying and reviewing and studying and studying? No. To be honest, I was just doing an exercise about simple past. I have a grammar book, and every couple of weeks, I go back to my book and I review exercises and I check explanations because I want to improve myself. I want to improve my explanation style, okay? So, noise, I hate noise. This is something that you have to persist. I'm a fluent speaker. I know simple past, but I'm always going back to the subject because I know that continuous reading, continuous studying is the key to success. Okay? Now, the second thing that I can tell you to do is make a list of your top 20 to 50 verbs. Now, as I always emphasize, quality is better than quantity, okay? And when I say make a list of 20 to 50 verbs, I'm not just telling you to go to Google and find a list. Oh, okay, list of 50 verbs in the past. No. You are going to sit down when you have some time, of course, and you are going to think of the 50 to 20 verbs that you want to know, that you need to use, that you feel like you always have to use, but you forget. And this part of the exercise, if you have to do in Portuguese, it's okay. All right? So, what I'm trying to do here is connect English to your life. So, analyze the kind of verbs, the kind of actions that you constantly need to use, but you always forget. Okay, and if you have to use your native language in this part of the process, it's okay. Maybe you don't know that specific verb in English. Maybe you have to look it up and find out and discover the meaning of that phrase, of that verb in English. So it's okay to do that sometimes. When I say I don't like translation, I'm not unrealistic. Sometimes we need to translate. When you don't know a word in English, you have to discover, you have to find out what word that is, okay? So here, sit down and analyze the verbs that you use all the time. Analyze the verbs that you use all the time, that you are constantly forgetting or that you're constantly confusing. These are the verbs that need to be part of your list, okay? Now, one important thing, you don't need to study these verbs all at the same time, all at once. No, that's not the goal. Remember that you have to be continuously studying simple past, and every day, or I don't know how often you study, but every week, go back to simple past and review and study. So this is what I mean here, okay? You are going to make this list so that you know what you have to study. Now that you have chosen the 20, the 30, the 40 verbs that you need to study, every week you can go back to these verbs, but not all of them. If this week you just want to study 5, 7 verbs, it's okay. No problems. And when I say study these verbs, teacher Prix, what do you mean? Should I just sit down and write the verbs in the past and then in the base form? No, you are going to connect English to your life, and you are going to use these verbs to create examples of things that happened to you. That's how you study vocabulary. That's how you study grammar. If you just sit down and write the past form of the verbs, I'm sorry, but you're not going to learn simple past efficiently. You really have to connect this lesson to your life. And the best way to do that is by creating examples of things that happened to you. So that's what I mean by study these verbs on a continuous basis, on a regular basis, as frequently as possible, okay? So if you agree with this tip, how about hitting the like button? That way I know that you agree with this lesson, that you think this lesson is useful, and that I can create more content for you about simple past, okay? Now, in connection with this tip, another thing that you can do is keep a written journal, okay, or a virtual journal. Maybe you have an app on your cell phone that where you can write things and save throughout the week. So I have a journal. Actually, where's my journal? It was somewhere. Oh, I don't have it here. It was somewhere near my desk. Why is keeping a journal important? Well, in the previous strategy, I told you that it's important that you make a list of verbs and then connect it to your life. When I say connect it to your life, I'm talking about you telling, speaking, writing things that happened to you. And when you have a journal, it is easier to do that. What is a journal? A journal is a notebook, okay, where you write about yourself, about the things in your life, things that are happening to you in your life, about your feelings, about your goals, about your objectives, about your accomplishments. And many people do that. Many people like to write. So why not connect this habit to English and start writing about your days, about your goals, about your feelings, about your accomplishments in English. And this is an incredible opportunity for you to study simple past and the verb list that you started creating, because you will need these verbs. If you connected English to your life and wrote a list of verbs that help you describe your life, your activities, then by the time you start adopting this habit, it's going to be much easier to create phrases and examples and tell stories using those verbs. Okay, so I write in my journal only in English. So every day, every morning when I wake up, I meditate, and then I write on my journal and I write about my previous day. I always write about my previous day. Okay, I write what I did, what happened, things that I'm happy for, and that's it. So this is an opportunity for you to quickly practice simple past in a contextualized way. If you don't like to write, you can use your phone and you can, type the things you did. Okay, well, yesterday I went to the doctor. After that, I called my parents because my mom missed me. And in the afternoon, I met my friends for coffee. Then at night, I came back home, got dressed, and went to the gym. I came back home around 9 p.m., took a shower, had something to eat, and went to bed. So I described a day. Your day doesn't have to be awesome for you to describe your day. Your day can be a simple day, simple activities, no problems. The purpose here is not to have an amazing day. The purpose here is to practice simple past, connecting this lesson to your life, to your real world. Okay? Excellent. Moving on. Make sure to subscribe, okay? Every week, Monday to Friday, new lessons for you. Anyways, now the next thing here that I can tell you that is very efficient when I have students who are beginners, real beginners, when I start to introduce simple past to them, I introduce simple past based on subjects that will help them. So if it's a real beginner, 100% beginner, my first subject is weekend. I ask all my students, week 1, week 2, no difference. I start working on simple past on day 1, but I give a context. And here with my basic students, I use their last weekend. With students that are a little better, I include other subjects. So when my student is a beginner but knows a little bit more information, then I start using other things, other subjects, like people they like that lived in the past, their favorite singers, their favorite bands, their favorite actors, people who died, okay, biographies, past events, maybe when they got married or their last vacation. So slowly, I build the simple past knowledge on the subjects that these students can talk about. So this is something that you need to pay attention when you want to improve simple past and any other grammar lesson. What kind of subjects are you connecting simple past with? Because if you just sit down and watch explanations, okay, they are important and I'm going to talk about this, but that's not enough. If you don't bring the grammar to real world, to the contextualized situation, you are not going to learn, no matter how many lessons you watch, no matter how many books you read. Okay? Moving on. The final thing that I have to be completely honest about is you really need to dedicate some time to the rules, to reviewing the rules. Guys, just a side note here, it's freaking hot in São Paulo. It's winter and it's 26 degrees Celsius. This is ridiculous, you know? Okay, that was my moment of nagging and complaining. It's hot. I felt hot all day. Next week is supposed to be cold, but I'm not gonna lie, it was a tough hot day, you know, I just want a little cold. All right, anyways, the final thing that I have to tell you guys is rules. If you have problems with simple past, all right, it's cool. No problems, no pressure. Don't judge yourself. So, throughout the week, remember that I told you that you have to be continuously studying simple past. Awesome. So you have to do different kinds of things. I told you different contexts, different subjects, writing, watching videos, connecting to things you enjoy. But now you also have to read the rules because if you're making mistakes, you have to review the rules. As I told you, I was studying simple past and other grammar lessons this week. I know the rules, but it's always good to dedicate a little time to studying the rules. Okay, so here, just a quick review. We have three sentences that are important here: affirmative sentences, negative sentences, and questions. Affirmative sentences are the only sentences you will conjugate the verb. So the verb will change, okay? So yesterday was Tuesday. Yesterday I studied English. Okay, so I studied English last night. So every affirmative phrase, in every affirmative phrase, your verb changes. Okay. Now, in negative sentences, if you are saying something that did not happen, that you didn't do, then you will use didn't. I didn't study English last night. I didn't go to the gym this morning. I didn't eat vegetables today. I didn't call my parents this morning. Okay? It's a negative sentence. Now, there are more rules. We would have to talk about can, could, verb to be. I'm just reviewing the basics here, okay? And finally, we have questions. In questions, you use did. Okay, here I just posted a yes or no question, but we also have questions with W8 question words: what, where, when. So you need did, and here the verb is normal, base form, no conjugation. In very few exceptions, you will need to conjugate verbs in questions, okay? Very few cases. So these are some rules that you have to go back to, okay? There's no escape. If this is something that you're having problems, you will need to dedicate a little time to studying. Very nice, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. And now I have a homework exercise for you. What do I want you to do is, I want you to come back to this video, and in the comments, you are going to write one affirmative phrase in the past, everything in the past, okay? So one affirmative sentence, one negative sentence, and one question. All phrases in the simple past form. And if possible, try to write about something that's real for you, not just an example, but something that happened to you. Tell me more about you. What did you do yesterday? Oh, yesterday I went to the gym, or yesterday I had to work all day. Well, yesterday I didn't have time to watch your videos, Teacher Prix. I'm sorry, I will watch them tonight. Teacher, did you study English yesterday? Teacher, did you... Something real, something that we can connect to your life, to your lifestyle, to who you are, to your world, okay? That is gonna be all for today, my friends. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. And hey, make sure to share this video with your friends. Thank you. Bye-bye.